Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the LearnEnglishPodcast.com, where we help you improve your English in a fun and practical way. I'm Wason, your host, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Lydia.
Hey, Wason! I'm doing great, thank you. I'm really excited about today's topic because it's something every English learner struggles with at some point.
Absolutely. Today we're diving into something super important. Fast thinking, fluent speaking. If you've ever felt stuck while speaking English, or if you pause too much trying to find the right words, then this episode is for you.
That's right. Fluency isn't just about knowing a lot of words, it's about how quickly you can think and respond in English.
So if you want to sound more natural and confident when you speak, stay with us.
And don't worry, we've got some simple techniques and fun exercises lined up that will help you think faster and speak more smoothly. Plus, we'll even do some interactive challenges later on.
Exactly, so get ready.
By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to train your brain to think in English and speak without hesitation.
All right, let's get started. First, let's talk about why fast thinking is so important for fluent speaking. So, Lydia, let's start with a question. Why do so many English learners struggle to speak fluently, even if they know a lot of vocabulary and grammar?
That's a great question, Wason. One of the biggest reasons is slow thinking. Many learners translate from their native language into English in their heads before they speak. Doing that takes time, and it creates hesitation.
Exactly. Imagine you're having a conversation and someone asks you, "What did you do last weekend?" If you stop to think in your native language first and then translate to English, your response will be slow and it'll sound unnatural.
Yes, and in real conversations, people won't wait for you to finish translating. They expect quick responses. So if you want to sound fluent, you need to train your brain to think in English directly. No more translating in your head.
But Lydia, some learners might ask, why does thinking fast make such a big difference? Can't I just speak slowly and carefully?
Good point. Speaking slowly is okay, and clarity is important, but if you take too long to respond, the conversation won't flow naturally. Native speakers process what they hear and reply within seconds. If you pause too much, the conversation can feel awkward or even frustrating.
Right. Have you ever spoken to someone who takes so long to answer that you start feeling uncomfortable?
Oh, yes. You begin to wonder if they heard you, or if they're busy thinking about something completely different while you wait. It's awkward.
Exactly. And that's why fast thinking is key to having natural, confident conversations. The faster you can process your thoughts in English, the more fluent you'll sound.
So the bottom line is, if you want to speak fluently, you need to train your brain to think faster in English. But how do you do that? Don't worry, we're going to share some powerful techniques next.
Yes. Up next, we'll show you exactly how to train your brain to think faster and respond more naturally in English. Stay with us. Just a quick reminder, you're listening to the Learn English Podcast at LearnEnglishPodcast.com.
We hope you're enjoying the episode and finding these tips helpful.
Now that we've trained our brains to think faster, let's move on to some practical techniques to improve your speaking fluency.
If you're someone who takes too long to find the right words, don't worry. Thinking faster in English is a skill, and just like any skill, it can be trained with practice.
That's right. So, Lydia, what's the first technique to help learners think faster?
The biggest reason people think slowly is because they try to translate from their native language into English before they speak. This creates a delay and makes conversations difficult.
Exactly. Instead, you have to train yourself to think directly in English, But how can you do that?
One way is to start describing your day in English in your head. For example, if you're walking to work, instead of thinking in your native language, say to yourself in English, I am walking to work. The weather is nice today. I see a red car driving by. Doing this forces your brain to process your thoughts in English quickly without any translation.
Oh, I love that idea. It's like creating a mini English-speaking world in your mind. And you can do this anywhere, while cooking, shopping, or even exercising.
Yes, just don't start talking to yourself out loud in public, or people might look at you funny.
Good point. Now here's another powerful technique, the 5-second rule. This means whenever someone asks you a question in English, you should try to answer within 5 seconds. No long pauses allowed.
Oh, I like that. But what if you don't know the perfect answer in that short time?
Great question. The goal isn't to give a perfect answer, it's to respond quickly. Even if your sentence isn't 100% grammatically correct, just say something to keep the conversation moving. The more you do this, the faster your brain will get at forming responses.
Here's a fun one, word association. This is when you hear a word and immediately say the first other word that comes to mind. It's a little game that trains you to react quickly instead of overthinking. For example, let's try it right now. Wason, I'll say a word and you say the very first word you think of. Ready?
Ready.
Coffee.
Morning.
Beach.
Vacation.
See how it works? We didn't stop to think deeply, we just responded. This simple game helps train your brain to react faster in English and stops you from overthinking.
Yes, and you can practice word association on your own or with a friend. Just pick a word at random and quickly say related words or ideas that pop into your mind. It really trains your brain to think fast in English.
Now, the next technique is called shadowing, and it's amazing for improving fluency. To do this, you listen to a short sentence from a native speaker and repeat it immediately, like an echo, trying to copy exactly what they said.
Oh, so it's like mimicking their pronunciation, intonation, and speed in real time.
Exactly. This helps you process English faster and speak more naturally. You can try shadowing with your favorite TV show, a movie, or even with other podcasts. Just play a line, pause, or lower the volume, and echo it back right away.
I love that. All right, let's recap the techniques we just covered to train your brain to think faster in English. 1. Stop translating everything in your head. Train yourself to think in English directly. 2. Use the 5-second rule to respond quickly in conversations. 3. Practice speaking spontaneously about anything. 4. Imitate native speakers by shadowing how they speak.
Start practicing these techniques daily, and you'll notice a huge difference in how fast you can come up with words and sentences.
Speaking of fluency, let's move on to the next part. Now that we've trained our brains to think faster, what are some practical techniques to help us speak more fluently?
Great idea. These next tips are simple but super effective ways to help you speak more smoothly and confidently.
So Lydia, what's the first practical speaking technique?
Well, one common issue is that many learners give very short answers. They might just say yes or no and then stop, which can stall the conversation. Instead, always try to respond in full sentences.
Absolutely. For example, if someone asks, "Do you like coffee?" Don't just say, "Yes." You can expand a bit. "Yes, I love coffee, especially in the morning because it helps me wake up."
Exactly. Giving a fuller answer makes the conversation feel more natural, and it also gives you more speaking practice every time you respond.
Here's another tip. Don't overcomplicate your sentences. It's perfectly fine to use simple and common phrases in English.
Right. A lot of learners try to construct very complex sentences and then get stuck or confused. Instead, stick to short, natural phrases that English speakers use all the time, like, "That's a good idea," "I totally agree," or "That makes sense."
That's a great strategy. If you learn these common sentence patterns and phrases, you'll be able to respond faster without having to think so much about how to form each sentence.
Another effective exercise is to practice speaking spontaneously. Look at an object or think about a situation and try to describe it out loud in English without planning what you're going to say.
Oh, I love that challenge. Let's do an example right now. Lydia, can you describe what's in front of you at this very moment?
Sure. Let's see. I have a laptop on my desk. The laptop screen is open to our podcast notes. There's also a cup of tea next to it, and it's still a bit hot. The window beside me is open, and I can hear birds chirping outside.
Perfect. See how you just did that on the spot? This kind of quick exercise forces you to think in English and helps improve your fluency by getting you used to forming sentences without preparation.
Our next tip is to imitate native speakers. Listen to how native English speakers talk and try to copy their tone, their speed, and their expressions.
Yes. You can do this by watching a scene from an English movie or a YouTube video. Choose a short clip and then repeat what the speaker says, trying to match their pronunciation and rhythm as closely as possible.
This will train you to sound more natural and get comfortable speaking at a normal speed, just like native speakers do.
Here's something most learners don't do, but it's super powerful. Record yourself speaking English and then listen to the recording.
Oh, that's a great one. It might feel a little strange hearing your own voice at first, but when you listen to yourself, you can hear where you pause, notice any mistakes, and check if you're speaking too slowly or using lots of filler words. It's like being your own coach.
Exactly. And don't worry about being perfect on the recording. The point is to observe and improve. If you do this regularly, you'll also be able to track your progress over time. Compare a recording of yourself now to one a month from now, and you'll be surprised at how much faster and smoother you sound.
And of course, the best way to improve your fluency is simply to practice, practice, practice. Speak English as much as you can.
Yes. Talk to friends in English, join a language exchange group, or even talk to yourself at home if no one else is around. You could narrate what you're doing as you cook or as you get ready for bed. And hey, you can even talk to your dog or cat in English. They won't judge your accent.
Absolutely. The more you actually use English in your daily life, the easier it will become to think in English and to speak quickly and naturally.
One more thing to watch out for. Try not to overuse filler words like, or, you know. These little words can slow you down and make you sound less confident.
Exactly. It's okay to pause for a moment to think, but try to do it silently instead of saying, This will make your speech sound much smoother and more fluent.
All right, let's quickly summarize those speaking techniques. 1. Try to answer in full sentences, not just one-word replies. 2. Use simple, common phrases instead of overcomplicating your sentences. 3. Practice speaking spontaneously about anything. 4. Imitate native speakers by shadowing how they speak. 5. Record yourself speaking and listen back to evaluate your performance. 6. And most importantly, find opportunities to speak as much as possible.
Start using these strategies every day, and you'll see a huge improvement in your fluency.
Now we have something fun to help you practice thinking fast and speaking fluently. Are you ready for some interactive exercises?
Yes, if you're listening right now, this is your chance to participate. Try to answer out loud or in your head as quickly as you can. Don't overthink it. Just go with your first thought.
Okay, first up is a quick-fire question round. I'm going to ask you a few simple questions, and I want you to answer each one immediately. No long pauses. Ready?
All right, listeners, let's do this. Wason, go ahead with the first question.
What's your favorite food? Next question. Where do you want to travel? And one more. What's one thing you do every morning?
Great job. The goal here is to train yourself to answer fast, even if your answer isn't perfect. Just get your response out quickly.
Now for the next challenge, I'm going to give you a random word, and you have 30 seconds to create a short story that includes that word. Say it out loud if you can.
For example, if the word is beach, you might say, "Last summer I went to the beach with my family. We played volleyball, swam in the ocean, and ate ice cream. I even built a sandcastle. It was so much fun."
All right, your word is rain. Take a few seconds and think of a quick story about rain. Go.
Awesome! If you just came up with a little story, you're actively training your brain to think in English on the fly.
Ready for one more? This final challenge is a finish the sentence game. I'll start a sentence, and you finish it with the first idea that pops into your head.
Sounds good. Let's try it.
Finish this sentence. I woke up this morning, and my favorite thing about learning English is... Now, you finish that sentence. Here's another. If I could travel anywhere, I would go to... Say the first place that pops into your head.
Well done. The more you practice little games and challenges like these, the faster and more natural your English will become.
Remember, fluency is all about quick thinking and not being afraid to make mistakes. If you practice these speed challenges every day, even for a few minutes, you'll train your brain to think in English faster.
And make sure you have fun with it. The more you enjoy the learning process, the more you'll want to practice and the faster you'll improve.
Wow, what an amazing session today. We've covered so many great tips on how to think faster and speak more fluently in English.
Absolutely. We talked about why quick thinking matters, shared practical techniques, pointed out common mistakes to avoid, and even did some fun interactive challenges.
Remember, the key to fluency is consistent practice. If you make these habits a part of your daily routine, you'll see huge improvements in your speaking ability.
Keep pushing yourself, and don't forget to enjoy the journey of learning. Every bit of practice is a step forward.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more useful English learning tips and tricks.
And please share this podcast with your friends who are also looking to improve their English speaking skills. They might benefit from these tips too.
Also, we'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to leave us a review or a comment to let us know what you liked best about this episode.
Yes, your feedback means a lot to us, and feel free to suggest any topics you want us to cover in future episodes.
Thank you so much for listening. And remember, fast thinking leads to fluent speaking. Keep practicing, and we'll see you next time.